Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nationwide at 6. I'm Osama Shab. How much is a life worth in the world of Indian cricket? Because in Bengaluru, just days ago, the answer appeared to be not enough. 11 dead, dozens injured. The joyous roar of a 17-year wait for victory, it was silenced by chaos. It was silenced by mismanagement and what can only be described as a complete disregard for public safety. Now, as the loved ones, they mourn those in the people in power. They are deflecting, they are denying, and they are escaping. This wasn't just poor planning. It was quite simply a betrayal of the faithful. We will explore the tragic events that unfolded and the disturbing pattern of unaccountability which seems to plague the very ecosystem that is built on fan loyalty. But first, take a look at this report.
11 dead, dozens injured. Bengaluru, the city that had waited 18 years for this victory, was plunged into mourning just minutes after its moment of glory. The RCB victory parade was called off due to safety concerns. But no one stopped the crowds from coming. No alternate crowd plan, no secure perimeter, just chaos. This wasn't just mismanagement by the very ecosystem built on fan loyalty.
मैं जब खेलता था तब भी मैं इन रोड शोज में ज़्यादा बिलीव करता नहीं था. मैं आज भी नहीं करता और मैं आगे भी नहीं करूँगा. जीतना इम्पोर्टेंट है, सेलिब्रेशंस इम्पोर्टेंट है, लेकिन उससे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है किसी भी व्यक्ति की ज़िंदगी. तो अगर हम प्रिपेयर्ड नहीं हैं या अगर हम उस तरीके के क्राउड को हैंडल नहीं कर सकते तो माइट एज वेल ये रोड शोज नहीं होने चाहिए. बिकॉज वी ऑल आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल citizens of this country और वो हमारे को हर तरीके में और हर एक्शन में दिखना चाहिए और हमारे को अपना वो एक्शन दिखाना भी चाहिए.
As it is a franchisee cricket and franchisee organization, so it is their private affair how they celebrate, when they celebrate. We do not have any control, and the present protocol also requires that there should not be any intimation to BCCI. Also, we must have some guidelines or some advisories to the winning teams or with all the franchises also. We may have to think about that, but till now nothing has concretized. But this has been an eye-opener for us. This incident has taught lessons.
It can happen in any state. That means the party in power there should not be blamed for this. It can happen in any state ruled by any political party. That much, if at times it happens in some state where BJP is in power, we should not blame BJP also.
As loved ones mourn the dead, those in power are deflecting, denying, and escaping from the reality. RCB, merely condolence statement. BCCI, a vague review, and Netas are busy in blaming each other. This wasn't just poor planning, it was betrayal. Cricket fans once again treated as cannon fodder in a system that feeds off their passion but fails to protect their lives. The cricketing world moves on, but for these families, the loss is permanent. These lives will never come back. Is there no respect for the dead? With Malvika Murli, Bureau Report, NDTV.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we are witnessing at this moment is a blame game. The government is blaming the Karnataka Cricket State Association, the police, even the franchisee. The franchisee is blaming the government. They are blaming the organizers. And at the center of this is also the police department. There are a lot of questions that can be asked about the police and why they allowed this event to happen. Was there political pressure? What was the need of this urgency? We'll try and find answers to some of those questions. I'm currently joined by Yashowardhan Jha Azad. He's an ex-IPS officer, ex-Special Director, Information Broadcasting, former Secretary, Security, Government of India. Sir, the entire blame game that is taking place at this moment, what we are seeing is that the Karnataka government and the other parties responsible for this entire event, the tragedy, they are shifting the blame to the police department. Now, when the match ended, when the so-called party, the celebration, it started right after the match and it ended early in the morning. The police was already stretched, and then you're asking the police to provide adequate, arrangements to hold a public bus parade, open bus parade. There is an event at the Vidhan Saudha, then there is an event at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. How valid is this justification that it is the responsibility of the police to take care of all of these alone?
I absolutely agree with you. In fact, I am in Bengaluru, and I was there when all these celebrations were taking place. And in fact, we couldn't sleep till about 2 o'clock because of the crackers. And there were really loud celebrations with people, moving around, the youngsters really happy. Now, there are two issues here which are critical. I do feel that the state government has not made it clear at all as to what has their role been. Ultimately, at night when the match ended, I think it was Virat Kohli, he said, that we'll carry the celebrations to Bengaluru the next day. So obviously there was a clear message at night, and that's the time when the state government should have taken a decision and very clearly whether they are going to have a celebration of this kind. Is it a state function or is it a private function?
Yeah.
Now, if it is not a state function, why were they taken to Vidhan Sabha, that is the assembly, where the chief ministers and all, they were present? There were 1 lakh people there also. And thereafter, the bus in the rally went to the stadium where it was announced that the tickets or the passes will be given on the spot. And then there will be a. The second point, which is most critical, is that the police commissioner is clearly saying that the permission for this was not given, and rightly so. In fact, he had even suggested that this celebration should be on Sunday. And I totally agree with that because, once this frenzy and all this excitement, enthusiasm passes, then you need an elegant, quiet, and a very respectful, dignified kind of a ceremony where you can honor all these people. So why it was done on that particular day, this is not clear. And that's why my last point is, I have seen in Bangalore, everyone is talking about supporting the commissioner, which is really, I find it very strange, and saying that there is something wrong because the state government has not made itself clear as to what was its role. Ultimately, that is most critical.
True, absolutely. And sir, I'll take you back just a year when Kolkata, they won the IPL. There were proper arrangements made. It was, announced that, look, whatever open bus parade or celebration or felicitation that is going to take place, it is going to take place after a certain number of days. And this is what it was suggested here as well, which the parties involved, whether it is the RCB, whether it is the management, whether it is the organizing, agency, whether it is the government, none of them took that into account. Why do you think the event proceeded despite these warnings? What kind of pressure do you think might have led to such decisions by the police? Because the police clearly said that, look, we will not be able to manage an event like this. Imagine a stadium that has a capacity of 35,000 people, and you have thousands and thousands, probably over 1 lakh or more than that, people out on the street, outside the stadium. So obviously, there was clear mismanagement there.
No, I agree with you on this particular point.
Do you think there was political pressure as well, sir?
Yes, that's exactly what I was coming to. The police realize that they have not given the clearance. In fact, if you see the FIR, that makes it very clear, in which they have given the body of the charges against the state association. And there were also scenes where the policemen who were trying to control the crowd, they were thrown up in air, of course, in jubilation. By the crowd itself, who wanted to just absolutely run riot because into enthusiasm. So the police had requested first that it should be held on Sunday, and secondly, but they saw this humongous crowd as a duty. They had to come out on the streets to do whatever they could. But the biggest problem in India today is that whenever you have these giant size events, the organizers themselves do not come up with their share of responsibility, whether it's in terms of, healthcare, like ambulance or other arrangements, facilitation, etc., etc. They leave everything to the state government and the police. The police was absolutely, overwhelmed. And my most important point is, why were there two celebrations?
Exactly.
Why did they go to Vidhan Soda first?
Exactly.
Why please those politicians and to sort of give that kind of an impression? Obviously, it was an absolutely dastardly act, I would say. And then you gave enough time for the chaos to take place in the stadium. And by the time the police was there, it was absolutely, out of gear, out of numbers to control that kind of a crowd. And that's why I will certainly put the blame on the state governments. Whoever took this decision was absolutely against the people, against those fans, the poor fans who died, and
True.
against the spirit of cricket itself.
Absolutely. I also have Neeru Bhatia, senior sports journalist. I also have former India cricketer Atul Vasan joining us on the show. Neeru Bhatia, the BCCI, the RCB, everyone has issued statements. Do you believe that their responses are adequate, or they are also attempting to deflect the responsibility from their head?
I believe the latter. They are just trying to deflect the responsibility. See, there is a communication gap quite evident between the BCCI and the RCB and the KSCA. More so between the KSCA and the RCB. Clearly, it's very obvious from how the whole events unfolded, over here. So, as we know, RCB officials tweeted on the Twitter handles that this show is going to go up. Please come, watch your cricketers, watch your team, etc., etc. How can you do that? It's so irresponsible. You have to take the permission of the authorities beforehand. That's basic. And if the authorities say they are not capable of doing so in such short time, then you have to agree to that. From what I hear, even the police has said, the Karnataka police stated that they needed more time. It would have been better if it would have been organized a few days later, but nobody agreed to their advice.
True. Atul Vasan, you are a former cricketer. You're also a cricket fan. We all are cricket fans. The big question here is, don't the cricket fans deserve better?
Of course, it's a zero-sum game, what you guys are saying, and Yasho Bhaiya has been there. He knows the process, he's been there, and he's seen what has happened. In hindsight, it's perfect vision, but as we say, nobody is agreeing to be on the same page as the other person, as Neeru just said. And why should they be? If this was a success, then they would have been, everybody would have been on the same page, and failure is an orphan, we all know, but it's really sad, Can you imagine? First of all, I was watching this in trance because I was, since the last night, I think everybody got into this collective misplaced belief that we have won something out of the blue. It was just a state league. And I think just because Virat Kohli showed extra skin in the game and all the people got into it, and I think they bought into it. And you can't blame the franchise because they're a corporate house. They have got to tally the balance sheets. And politicians, it's a wet dream come true for them. It's a free में मिल रहा है जैसे corporate business people are supposed to give CSR 2% on the profit, and they give CSR and they sleep well at night that they have become philanthropists. Same as politicians, because they said freebie aa raha hai. Everything was a win-win game. The cricketers thought that probably the fans deserved this, so they went out of the way. There was no advantage to them. But this was just Virat Kohli. Everybody subsumed into that, and I was feeling sorry for these people. What are they doing? Because इसमें Bengaluru का एक player भी नहीं है इस team में.
Yeah.
Ranji Trophy में 360 overs per match खेलते हैं, 5,000 overs per year. But I want to see these same Karnataka fans just 10% of the turn. So this is just a classic case study. Should be in Harvard actually, or maybe psychology book. How you can create this hysteria, and these poor people. I don't know what they were doing. It's just like America having this American football, and they calling it World Series. ये वैसे ही हो रहा है.
True. Neeru Bhatia wants to make a point.
The tail wagging the dog.
True. Neeru Bhatia, you want to make a point.
I wanted
Please
to
go
add to what Atul said. This is not even a World Cup win. We've had bus parades. We've had players coming from the T20 World Cup win for the first time. There was a bus parade in Mumbai.
Exactly.
And we went to the Wankhede Stadium, and everybody gathered there. It was wonderful.
It is just a marketing success.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the franchisee as well as the government as well, or for the franchisee and the people in power as well, because they are also trying to take out political mileage out of it, isn't it?
Not anymore. They thought they'll get away with it.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that this has been done before, but this mismanagement was never seen then. So it is quite baffling. I mean, somewhere along the line,
It's not baffling.
everybody involved are touching
This
it.
will happen in India.
Atul bhai, I
so this
also
is
have
not
a
baffling.
question.
We have seen it every time.
Atul bhai, I also have a
Please.
question about how many of the players are also being
I'm just saying
directly
that,
blamed.
because you guys are so experienced. Yashoba has been there. What did you expect from us? Immediately we'll turn into German citizens. We'll have discipline. We are like this. We are too many of us. This happens. Even in
Also-
America, there was 100 people died in a nightclub. There was every year, Saudi
Yes,
Arabia.
Mr. Azad,
there was
please
the
go ahead.
best
You want to make a
organization.
point. Yes,
and
please
every
go ahead,
year,
sir.
500 people die.
Yeah.
You know,
Mr. Azad wants to make a point. Atul bhai, Mr. Azad wants to make a point.
I totally understand what Atul is saying. And even in France, this happened when Real Team won and there were riots and things all that. But the point is, the government has to go by rationality. I mean, I personally don't watch this fast food cricket. I watch every other cricket. I watch Ranji Trophy where there are 5 people only over there, but I love it. So but the question is, this kind of a private enterprise where everyone is getting a lot of money cannot be just allowed to run its own writ. Virat Kohli announced that night after the match, we will carry the celebrations into Bengaluru. I am in Bengaluru and I was awake the whole night because of the celebrations. Now, can you imagine the police, which is stretched till 6 a.m., as you rightly said, will be able to manage 3 lakh crowds? It is the fault of the state government. Why was there a celebration at the Vidhan Assembly? Is it for the politicians?
Yeah.
Is it for the chief minister and the others?
True.
It should have been a pure one function, as the police suggested, and it should have been held on Sunday in a stadium where everyone could
Mr.
have
Azad, there is another point that I want to highlight is that a lot of these players, including Virat Kohli, they are being directly blamed for this tragedy. There have been trending hashtags. There are questions that are being asked. Why didn't Kohli stop the celebration, etc., etc. What I want to understand from you is this this fan fury justified for Virat Kohli?
No, I certainly don't think it's. In fact, I even believe when the information about the Stampede came, exactly then they should have stopped the celebration.
True.
Absolutely.
The lives are much more. And my heart breaks when
Absolutely,
you show the photograph, 3 young girls dying and young boys. I mean, it's impossible.
And these are all cricket fans. They all love cricket. They were only there to celebrate cricket.
Yes.
No, they don't love cricket. They love cricketers. In India, nobody goes to watch cricket. They go to watch cricketers.
There was absolutely
Neeru
no reason to
Bhatia,
continue with the
please go ahead.
program.
Yes.
There was absolutely no need to continue with the program once it was. They were informed that there was a stampede outside. That they were
not informed.
problems. I'm sure they would have been inside. The cops would have known.
I'll tell you. Let me just break it down for you, because I have got this minute by minute timeline. What happened is there were 3 parties to it. There was one players. Let's subsume all the players into Virat Kohli, because that's what people. It's a low hanging fruit, easy target, and people actually go for just marry Antoinette, cut the neck. What happens, because we don't get cake or bread. Anyway, so that's the government is there.
Neeru Bhatia, Atul Vasan and Mr. Azad, we are running short of time.
Which are justified in making the money and getting this hysteria, and the poor
Absolutely.
fans.
We understand. We get your point, Atul bhai.
And the players did not know. I cannot believe that
these
Virat Kohli
cheers,
knew.
these
I know
cheers of
victory.
victory.
Let me finish.
Yes,
Let
please,
me finish
please.
from my
Very
side.
quickly,
Let
sir.
me tell you. Because I know the boy. I cannot believe in a million years that he knew that people are dying and he would have continued. There was a miscommunication. The politicians have got thick skin. They are ruthless. They would have carried on. The RCB was making money. They could have carried on. But if the players would have known, and Virat Kohli,
All right.
no chance in hell.
All right. These cheers of victory, they echoed, but in Bengaluru, those cheers, they are now drowned out by the cries of anguish. And we ask, where was the protection? Where was the accountability? And is there truly no respect for the dead? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. It's time now for a very short break.